Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Give everybody time to tap in, check in. What's going on? On this Friday evening, or Friday night, wherever you may be at. Give everybody some time to check in and tap in. I'm going live from the stream yard tonight, see what's going on with that. Hello, friend, what's going on? Thanks for tapping into the live stream. Where you from, the Philippines? I'm blessed, I'm okay. You from India? Thanks for tapping in from India. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm gonna get the conversation started once I get to the 15-minute mark. I'm just giving some people some time to check in and tap in. Are you a subscriber on my platform or are you new here? Are you new here, friend, or are you a subscriber? Yeah, let's hope everybody blessed on this Friday night, evening, morning, wherever you tapping in from around the globe, around the world. I appreciate it. Just giving some people some time to check in and tap in. giving it to the 15-minute mark. However, if you are tapping in or you watching from the sideline or the bushes, definitely hit that like button. I'm on the StreamYard, so I don't drop the link. So once I get into the conversation, anybody want to pull up and chat, hit the link, and we could build. Definitely. Also, again, thank everybody for the 1K subs. I appreciate it. So now I gotta get my watch hours together, which I've been doing that by going live. So if anybody do watch the replay, I appreciate if they try to watch the whole replay. Also, hope everybody enjoying this nice weather we've been having lately on the East Coast, New York, New Jersey, Philly, Delaware, DC, Boston. Hope everybody enjoying the weather and being safe, paying attention to your surroundings and your awareness. Just keep your awareness high as possible. Just giving it to the 15-minute mark before I do what I do. Give a little bit more people time to tap in and check in. Also, another thing I'm doing now, when I do my lives on Fridays, I'm gonna work on trying to use the StreamYard so I could drop the link so people could come up and we could have a one-on-one conversation. So if people want to ask me questions, they ain't gotta be typing in the chat. They could really talk to me one-on-one in the StreamYard. I don't really want to do no avatars. I'll talk to people though. They cam up, we could talk. Because I just want to make sure I'm talking to a person, not an AI, not a bot, not a troller. So if you all gonna hit the link, just make sure you're right and you're ready. I'm gonna try to do that on Fridays or on Saturdays. Try to use the StreamYard. Also, the StreamYard, it be acting up sometime. So that's why I don't use it as frequently, but it glitches a lot of time. Carla, what's going on, sis? What's going on? Like, you enjoying this weather or what? Realist, what's going on, bro? What's happening with you? Y'all know I'm just waiting to the 15-minute mark. We gonna get it in. Also, I'm on the StreamYard, Realist and Carla, because I've been asking questions and making statements. So if anybody wanna pull up, so they ain't gotta be typing and they really wanna speak, because I know a lot of times when you be in a chat, you can't type that quick or you can't respond to certain things the way you want because you're in the chat. So I'm on the StreamYard. So if anybody do want to pull up, they could do that. Because I know sometimes being in the chat, it'd be a little difficult to say exactly what you want to say when you got to type it. So I'm gonna try to do. If I don't do it on Friday, I try to do it on Saturday. The StreamYard. You know what I mean? So like I said, if anybody want to pull up, they could do that. Yeah, I got about 3 more minutes before I get into what I'm gonna get into. Just wanted to put that out there. But otherwise, what's up? How you doing, Carla? What's up, Realist? What you been up to, brother? You good? Give y'all some time to respond in the chat. Yeah, I understand, brother. I one thing about me, I'm thriving, man. Surviving is all we can do, but I'm thriving, man. Yeah, nah, I know you in I know you in SC, Carla. I know what I don't know is though, is that a different time zone from the East Coast? Like, is that time different from like Philly, New York, New Jersey, Baltimore, Boston? Like, is that time? Oh, it's the same time. All right. I never really knew that. All right, great. So that's good. And I know Realist is on the same time schedule too. I mean, majority the people that tap in be on the same time. Some of my people that tap in, they be from the Filipino and Jamaica sometime, but they don't really catch me like that. All right, so I'm at the 15-minute mark. So what we doing tonight is we doing adult conversation, and I know sometimes it be a little uncomfortable. However, last time I went live, I asked what celebrities do, privacy and secrecy. So now what I want to know is what's the limitation with family? Like for instance, does it depends on how tight you are with a family member before you set boundaries and limitations, or it don't matter? Like if you have a better relationship with your brother than your sister, will you allow your brother to do more, have more access to you than your sister, or will you allow your sister to have more access to you than your brother? Like, how does that work? Like, if you drive, you'll trust your brother more than your sister with your car. You'll let your sister borrow more money than your brother, like, or you just got boundaries and it don't matter. Because I know me, I just got boundaries. It don't matter. Like I love everybody, however, it's a difference. Like I love everybody, but it's a difference. And it's not because of who they are, meaning not because it's my mom's. I love her differently because my sister. No, it's like I love my mom's for different reasons than I love my sister. But I don't show my mom's more love than my sister, or my sister more love than my mom's, or my brother more love than my sister. I got boundaries with everybody because I got to prioritize me and my mental health and my psychological and spiritual health. So I don't want to go through something, for example, with my brother, and now me and my sister got a better relationship. Okay, what you said, brother, I have five different Thank you for tapping in, friend. I no, I understand that and I get that. I'm saying that too. However, what I am saying is though, some people would say, that's my mom's. I love my mom's more than anybody, and I'll do whatever for my mom's. Me, I do love my mom's, but I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do whatever for my mom's or whatever for my son or my daughter. It's like we gotta really build that connection together. So if I don't build that connection with them, it don't matter who they are. Like I don't look at who someone is. I look at the rapport and or connection. Like I said, I love everybody, but it's different because I'm looking to build that rapport because I'm learning when things get critical, I can't really rely on anybody anyway. You know what I mean? So I don't want to put too much energy and emphasis on, you know what, that's my kid right there. So I'm gonna put my kid in front of aunt or uncle, or put my mom's in front of my kids. And now I may get into a situation with my moms and my kids. What I'm gonna do? So like I said, I love everybody, but it's different. And you know what, Willis? That's why I appreciate you tapping in. That's a fact. We can't help that. We can't. But what we can do is help ourselves. That's why I said what I just said. Because some people like to put people against each other. Like when you get married, some people don't know how to put their husband or their wife first. They still like, even though I'm married, they don't want to let their mother know or their father know or their brother know or their sister know, yo, that's my wife. I- And we got our own situation. I don't want nobody worrying about me and my wife's situation or me and my husband's situation unless we come to y'all for help. Some people be like, that's still my brother. I understand that that's my wife, but that's my sister. I understand that that's my husband, but that's still my mom's. It's like, so we allow the relation of the person to get in front of making crucial decisions. I mean, I used to be that way. And once I was able to see a little bit clearer, I didn't allow who the person was to cloud or clog my judgment. Like it is my mom, but or it is my sister, however, or it is my kid, however. And I'm going there to go here. So what happens when you have to decide between two people, a relation that means something to you? So if you gotta choose between your wife and your mom, what you gonna do? If you gotta choose between your husband and your dad, what you gonna do? You gotta choose between your daughter and your son, what you gonna do? And they both could be dead right. They both could be dead right. What you gonna do? And that happens sometime in life. And they might not even be asking you or putting you under pressure to make a decision. You might just be at that crossroad in your life where you got to make a tough decision. And when I went through that, what I had to learn was I was trying to make two people happy and forgot about myself. I'm going to say that one more time. I was trying to make two people happy and forgot about myself. So, for instance, if the situation consists of my moms and my sister, I was trying to make both of them happy and I forgot about me. So, are you willing to make other people happy because of the relation and forget about yourself? Because maybe you don't want to get them upset or you don't want them to get mad or whatever you know? So you may be like, yo, that's my mom's, man. Like, yo, that's my sister or that's my brother. So, and now you got to make a tough decision. And like I said, both parties could be right, but you're going to have to make a decision. So if you choose yourself, it don't matter how they look at you no more because you chose you. However, if you choose one or the other, they may not never recover from that. And from their perspective, you may tarnish your relationship with them or your commitment to them because it's like, damn, that's my brother. How you gonna choose his wife or how you gonna choose his kid or how you gonna choose whoever? But if you choose yourself, it don't matter what they think. You chose you, and that get a lot of people in a bind because they like, damn, well, hmm, that's my mom's man, that's my pops, or that's my girl, or that. What about you? You got to choose you. And if people take that as conceited or selfish or whatever they're gonna say, I mean, you gotta prioritize yourself because we get in tough decision making process when we dealing with other people. Definitely family. But like you said earlier, really you can't pick who your family gonna be. But you could always pick how you gonna decide to make a move for yourself. Like I said, I was in that situation several times. And when I first started going through it, I was faced with a rough situation. Like if I had to ride with one of my kids, and it's like, well, now I'm gonna have a tough decision to make when it come to my kid and my mom's, or come to my kid and my pops, or come to my wifey and my mom, or my wifey and my kid. So, for instance, my kid needs something, and me and my wife got to handle something, or me and my significant other got to handle something in regards to some money. It's like if I tell my kid no, or I can't do it right now, they might be like, "Dad, I came to my father. He couldn't even give it to me, or he act like he didn't want to do it, but he did something for my mom, or he did something for his wife." And it's like I'm like, yo, I got to do what's best for me. I can't do nothing for nobody, or I can't decide that. Y'all got to figure it out because when we allow family to do that, they'll put us in the middle of something, and now we got to make the decision for other people. And regardless of whatever decision we make, they not gonna be happy with it because if it don't go with the narrative they wanted to go with, they gonna be emotional or get upset or blame you. So if you just choose yourself, that's what it is. But if you gotta pick or decide to choose one of the others, like say, yo, we going out to eat, and your kid may say, yeah, I want to go to Mickey D's, and your girl or your wife, you may say, no, I want to go to Olive Garden. What you gonna do? But if you just like, look, I'm taking us out to eat. This is where we going. You want to go or not? Instead of putting the option out there, okay, where we going? And it's like now nobody could decide. It's three other people involved. So it's you, your wifey, and it's two kids involved. And both kids decide different, then your wifey decide different. So now what you gonna do? Or if it's your mom's and your brother and one of your kids, what you gonna do? Or your pops and your sister and your kid, what you gonna do? East Dad, what's going on, bro? Salute to you. So before you tapped in, East Dad, I was asking, like, when it comes to people that's significant to us, family and the relation, like your mom, your dad, your kids, your wifey, like, if like, okay, let's just say it's you and your son and your daughter and your wifey, and you like, yo, we going out, and it's like you say, yo, where y'all want to go? And your son say one thing, your daughter say one thing, your wifey say another thing. Now that's gonna be a conflict if you ride with your son, because your daughter gonna be like, Dad, how you just gonna go where he wanna go? Or if you pick with one of your kids, say your wife, you may say, well, how you gonna just listen to them? But if you just like, yo, we going out and this is where we going, y'all wanna go or not, it don't matter if they mad at you. You gotta go with what's good for your mental health. You gotta go with what's good for you. And that may come across as selfish. However, when we deal with family, this is what happens a lot. And we get caught up because we don't want to separate and designate for ourselves because we like, but I don't want to, my moms to be upset or my pops to be upset or my kids to be upset. And that's going to always happen when we deal with our family or people we love because we trying to appease to everybody and not ourselves. Like I said, I love my family, but I'm learning more and more. The less I interact with them, the more open they become to being open to considering my circumstance and my situation. But the more and more I deal with them, the less that happens. I can't relate my person. Oh, you say you can't relate your personal shit? All right, no problem. No problem. Like I said, I I just be asking real questions because I see things, people ask me things. So for me, what I like to do, I like to come to my platform and just ask. Those who can answer can answer. Those who are unable to answer, they're unable to answer. No problem. But that's how we get into tough spots with family or people we love because we try to appease to them so much that in the process we lose ourselves. Like I said, I've been through that. Um, my condolences, brother, about your parents. I mean, I have one parent. My dad passed away, so I understand. And I have children as well. So again, when we get to that point where we got to deal with a lot of different people, like I have tight relationships with certain family members. However, for the ones I don't have maybe a tight relationship with, that don't mean that I'm going to ride with the ones that I have a better rapport relationship with. Honestly, from my perspective, we should be able to come up with a better understanding and a better conclusion because of that better relationship. The family members I don't have a tight relationship with, we should be able to now try to come up with a conclusion because we don't have a tight relationship. So now we could build communication based off that. But the ones I'm kind of tight with, it shouldn't really be no issue because we know each other a little better and we might have a little bit more things in common and we might be a little bit more used to or comfortable with dealing with each other. But the ones I don't really know like that or have a tighter relationship with, that conversation need to be had. What you saying, Carla? People that normally know that. Makes me I see that right. It's so fun. Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate you for that, Carla. Thank you for sharing that. Like I said, I ask the type of questions that I ask because, or due to, definitely nowadays in 2025, a lot of people are put in a tight spot and they have to decide things. And when they have to decide things, it makes someone uncomfortable or emotional or upset because it's like nobody rolled with them. So if you come into a situation and it's like, we gonna do this. It's like everybody may want to go to Great Adventure, but you like, nah, we going to Donny Park. So like you gonna focus on what everybody else want, or you gonna focus on what you want, or you gonna focus on what's the best decision. Because family, a lot of times, could get you in a real tough spot. Right. It's hard sometimes, and it becomes harder or it get rough is because we don't want to let people down. And like I said, I'm saying this based off experience. I didn't want to let people down, but in the end, I end up letting myself down. Okay, so I is that appreciate that. So with that being said, it's a lot of things going on right now, right? It has been going on since the pandemic. And a lot of adults now, because you said adults, and thank you for that, they haven't been able to make decisions due to whatever, due to however, meaning due to being under pressure from their job, being under pressure from not having a job, being under pressure from having to pay bills, being under pressure from being in a relationship or being in a marriage, or other people being in a business, or other people telling them how to run their household, other people telling them how to raise their kids, people telling them what school their kids need to go to, or what to buy for their kids, or what to buy for their wifey, or what to buy for their husband, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's so if that applies, why so much things is happening and so many people is quote unquote going through mental health these days and times. And it's not like in a condensed area no more. It's in other countries now. It was just like, okay, you could say in certain parts or like in the hood. You know, dudes be wilding out, people be wilding in the hood. It's in the suburbs, it's in other countries. They protest in other countries now, everywhere. They rioting everywhere now. People at odds about every little thing. So I agree with that statement. But now I'm asking, if that's the case, why things are so catastrophic everywhere. Like things, and one thing is that you're a little older, so I could go here. Like even though you might not be into sports how you was, but you know, athletes wasn't how they was back in the 80s and the 90s, how they are now. Movies wasn't how they was back then, how they are now. And I understand times have changed. I'm not worried about that. It's nothing more consistent than change, and we need change. So I'm not debating that, but I'm saying from a mental an emotional and a psychological perspective, it's like people easily lose the edge in life and on life. So that's what I'm getting at. So it's like you could turn on the news, you could turn on YouTube, social media, you, you see it all the time. People get grabbed up, what they say, mental health is why they did what they did. And it's like you'll hear a story like, damn, why would the person do that? And it's like, why would they do that to their own family or to their own kid or to their own mom or to their dad or to their wife or to their husband or and that's family, right? So because people be overwhelmed and under pressure trying to appease to someone else because of who they are to them, or they get fed up with who the person is, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to listen no more, or I don't want to do what they want to do no more, or I don't want to do things the way they want to do it no more. Kids is flipping on their parents, parents is flipping on their kids, husbands is flipping on wives, wives is flipping on husbands, sisters is getting at sisters, brothers is getting at brothers, grandkids getting at grandparents for various different things. Sometimes when I watch the news, I'll be like, damn, that happened over that? And I don't even want to believe some of the stories. I'll be like, damn, somebody, so somebody got mad at their grandmother for that. Somebody got mad at their son for that. Somebody got mad at their moms for that. Somebody got mad at their husband for that. It's like, wow. And it's supposed to be family or somebody you love or somebody you think highly of. But it's going back to why I asked what I asked. People get overwhelmed and they don't want to deal with whatever it may be. And the relation is what people base it off. It's like, that's my mom's, that's my father, that's my daughter, that's my son, or that's my grandma. That used to matter. That used to hold weight. I'm not saying it don't, but not on the level it did back in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. That really used to mean something. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't recover if I disrespect my grandmoms. Like none of my family members would allow me to be around if I'm disrespecting my grandmoms though. Period. I got cousins that I didn't see that'll see me and want to get at me like, yo, dog, how you gonna disrespect your grandmoms like that? How you gonna disrespect your grandfather like that? They'll they'll literally get at me and nobody would tell them nothing. Nobody would do nothing. That's what I get for disrespecting my grandparents or grandparent. Now it's not like that. So that's why I asked what I asked about what's the limitation on family or the relation. Now, majority of people right now in the chat, me, you, Carla, and whoever else here is that. I don't know if Rilla's still there, but we of age. So y'all kind of could get a, a a grasp of where I'm going. Because like I said, I not only see it on the news, I see it on social media, I see it when I be out and about. And it's not only with kids. No, I'm saying it's brothers is harming and hurting their own brother. Sisters is harming and hurting their own sister. So it ain't just these kids. No, it's family against family. And I'm not saying family haven't been against family, but not how it is nowadays. It's like it's nothing. If a family member violate, oh, they gonna get it. They gonna get treated like the average Jane Doe or John Doe in the street. That's what I am saying. And and to me, it wasn't like that. So now that I could see it more fluently, more consistently, it's intriguing to me. It's like, wow, so this person decided to unalive 6 family members, 5 family members? Wow. Over the slightest things, over a PlayStation, over food, over argument, over a little bit of money, $100 or something like that. And I get the psychological approach, it's the point or it's the principle. But the principle and the point shouldn't have you want to do something to your family. And like I said, I'm going off what you type, East Dad. You said once, and I understand you said in your opinion, but you also said once people become adults, they should be able to make decisions. Nah, no, listen, brother. Listen, brother. You ain't gotta explain, man. You doing what you do, brother. Don't even worry about it. I just was responding back to what you text in reference to once you become an adult. And I agree with that. I just was saying that look how things are. Like once you become an adult, I agree people should be able to be making decisions. But I'm learning nowadays, and definitely since the pandemic, them decision makings have not been the way they used to be or they should have been or should be. And like I said, people getting at family. Like I said, brother against brother, sister against sister, kid against parent, parent against kid, kid against grandparent. Say, yes, no, right, right. No, I got that. I got that too. That's why I asked what I asked. You know what I'm saying? Because age, from my perspective, is just a number. It's about mentality. From my perspective, like age, somebody could be 30 years old and not mature as somebody 20 years old. Somebody could be 21 and they not, and they more mature than somebody 40 years old. Somebody could be 35 and they more mature than somebody 50. So it's not really the age factor here. It's the mentality I'm really keying in on. Nah, you good, bro. You good, bro. You solid, bro. Don't even worry about it, man. You know what I mean? Like you good, bro. So realist, you agreeing with the mentality and age is just a number situation? I just want to be clear on what you're agreeing with. No, he's that. I never said you said that. I said I agree with what you said about being an adult. I said me though, I'm keying in on mentality. You didn't put no number out there at all, brother. You didn't do that. I'm saying I was just keying in on mentality. That's why I gave different ages. That's why I said somebody could be 21 and they more mature than somebody 30. Somebody could be 30 and somebody 19 is more mature than them. Somebody could be 35 and they way more mature than somebody 50. So it's not about the ages, it's just about the mentality. Oh, all right, realist, I just didn't want to respond and back to something and I wasn't clear on what you was in agreement with or in a disagreement with. Nah, each dad, you good, brother. You good, brother. Don't even worry about it. You good, brother. So yeah, so I'm saying mentality is key. And that's what I'm saying. A lot of things is is out of control because of mentality. And not only mentality is that real conversations don't happen until something detrimental or catastrophic happen. Like I used to be uncomfortable with having uncomfortable conversations with people in my family. I'm not no more. And that's one of the reasons that I'm more comfortable with not dealing with family or people in life because I'm more comfortable with having awkward or unorthodox conversations with family. So, for instance, I don't mind speaking to my family about situations that come up amongst family. I'll tell a family member, I'm saying, okay, last time I seen you, last time we spoke, you told me you didn't really have a great relationship with Uncle so and so. Did you talk to Uncle so and so about it? Now, if they tell me no, I'll be like, I love you and I appreciate you, but you're not gonna talk to me about it. You're gonna talk to Uncle so and so about it. So you could address it, even if y'all might not mutually see eye to eye. At least y'all spoke about it because that's how things start amongst family because Uncle so and so on so and so and say, "Well, I heard you was talking to so and so about me," and you might say, "Yeah," but you might not give them the full rendition of the story. So if you just talk to them about it, even if you're unable to see eye to eye, that's not the point. The point is you spoke about it with them. See, I used to worry about that. Well, if I tell on so and so, cousin so and so, they're not going to hear me. I, I can't sweat that. I got to sweat the fact that I manned up and I talked to him about it. That's it. Again, if we don't see eye to eye after that, I don't care. I spoke to them about it, and I'm not going to speak to them in a derogatory or disrespectful way. I'm not going to do that. What what frustrates me now more is that people don't want to do that. They more comfortable with talking to someone else about it or talking about the person. I'm gonna say that one more time. What is diabolical to me are people are more comfortable with talking to someone else about it or talking about the person. And they should be more comfortable with talking to the person. And again, it doesn't matter if y'all don't see eye to eye no more. You spoke to them. That's the bottom line. You too, East Dad. Have a blessed weekend, my brother. God bless you and your family, man. And stay up, man, and stay positive and stay motivated, bro. Appreciate you for tapping in, man. And I hope whatever's going on, you work that out. Yeah, so like I was saying, like more people are more comfortable with talking to someone else about it or talking about the person. And to me, that's like, what is that about? Like, like I'm pushing 50 years old. Like, what type of 50-year-old am I gonna be? Like, am I gonna be somebody that's healthy? And healthy just don't mean my body. Mentally, is my mind in shape enough where I know not to be talking about nobody? It don't matter who they are. I'm gonna talk to them, or it don't mean nothing. Meaning, I ain't gonna even worry about it no more. And if I'm not gonna give them what's due to them, a conversation about something that I dislike or something that we went through, I ain't gonna give nobody else the conversation pertaining to them. Now I got to think about what happens, and I have to deal with a situation. Meaning, when something come up, this is how I deal with my problems. So I'm comfortable with talking to somebody else about somebody else and talking about somebody else. Like, I used to be comfortable with that. I'm very uncomfortable with that now. And that, from my perspective, is a part of growth and maturity. Because now, again, I used to worry about me talking to a family member, and it's like us seeing eye to eye after the conversation. Now that don't matter. And once I started taking that approach, I had other family members speak to me later in life, like, you know what, I'm glad you did that because that helped me out. I couldn't talk to cousin so and so, aunt so and so, uncle so and so, but I didn't say nothing about them. And then when we finally seen each other again and we had the conversation, even though we ain't on the level we used to be on, it wasn't no other issues connected to it because no other family members told them nothing that I said because I didn't say nothing. They didn't even know we wasn't really talking or vibing. And I said, you see? And they're like, yeah, I'm glad that you was on it like that. Because I've had people that didn't know me and certain family members wasn't talking or vibing. And when they brought that family member up, they just said, have you heard from such and such? Nah. Or if they tell me, I seen such and such, they said this, and this about me. Or they came to my house and they did this, that, and I'd be like, word, all right, well, I mean, this is your place or this your house. I mean, you got to regulate who come over here. If you uncomfortable with certain people coming through, tell them to call you before they come or don't let them in. I'm telling them what's best for their situation. Notice I didn't put the other person down. I didn't say, yeah, you know how cousin so and so is. Yeah, you know how aunt so and so is. You know how uncle so and so is. Nah, you gotta do what's best. If you uncomfortable with people just popping up, let them know. You call before you come, or don't let people in, or don't even respond to the door or the bell. If they say, yo, the lights on, I know my aunt or my uncle or whoever was in the house, they ain't even act like they won't open the door. Let them say that. They can say what they want, just like you could do what you want. But when you deal with people and it end up going left, as some people say, this is why, because people holding in frustration or animosity or jealousy or envy or hate. and now it just boils over because all it takes is that one situation for you to have with somebody for them to really tell you where they stand. And they start bringing things up that happened 4, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You're like, damn, how long they was holding on to this? And that don't make them a bad person, but it make you rethink your steps. Like, damn, that happened in 2015. They brought that up now. Damn, that happened in 2009. They still talking about that. And that's how come some people never recover. And again, you can have the conversation. It's not having a conversation for you and that person to be how you guys used to be. It's just for you and that person to have a conversation so they could know and you could know where y'all stand. So you don't gotta do the, well, I heard from another family member. And if that's what they choose to do after the conversation, that's what they choose to do. Like I said, I've been through that with my family. I went through something, and once I got to the point where it's like, but I'm going to address the person myself. So if I seen another family member, they're like, yo, such and such was over here, they was going in on you. Like, you know what, Aunt so and so, Uncle so and so, or cousin or whoever the family was, how you doing? What you been up to? And they're like, yo, you ain't hear what I said? How you doing? You all right? And if they keep antagonizing it to try to see what information they could get out of me so they could play phone or they could, oh yeah, that person came over here and said this, and they could perpetuate and keep it going. I was like, you know what? You have a blessed day. I gotta go. Why you leaving? It's like something came up, but you stay blessed. I got to go. And I'm not mad at that family member for trying to play two people against each other. I just understand I can't deal with that family member on that level no more. And again, I'm not mad at them. Not gonna say nothing. I just psychologically and mentally get how I gotta operate. That's why I said when his dad put in the chat, it's not about age, it's just about the mentality. I didn't have that mentality. I had to go through a lot to get that mentality. But see, Realist, you know why you probably saying that too, brother? Because you probably gonna get to that point in your life that I got to. I it don't matter to me. You know why? Because I'm just not gonna be around. They gonna talk about me. See, this is what I like about gossip, rumors, phone, and he say, she say. When you're doing bad, they gonna say you ain't on their level and you ain't good enough to be around them. Oh, that person ain't got nothing, they broke, or they this, they that. I ain't worrying about them. And then when you start doing better, oh, they think they better than everybody else. Or when you get more, oh, they selfish. So regardless of how you spin the story, people gonna be uncomfortable or unhappy with whatever you're doing. So when you're not doing good, they gonna speak down. And when you start doing better, you think you better, or you think you all that. So you know what I prefer to do? I just prefer to get my mentality together and do me. And then when I do interact or rub shoulders and people still doing what they do, I just tell them stay blessed. I ain't gonna tell them, yo, this is why I don't come around. Y'all still doing the same thing. I used to smoke weed, realist, right? It's still certain family members that's my age or older that still maybe drink or still maybe smoke. I'm not mad at them. However, when I go around them and they like, yo, yeah, I forgot you don't smoke no more. Why you stop smoking? I just wanted to take care of myself. But I'm not gonna tell them, yo, you too old to be smoking, yo, you too old to be drinking. Not gonna do that. Or I'm not gonna tell another family member that know they still do that and I don't do it. Yeah, I know you glad you don't smoke. You go around them, they still be smoking like this person's get this age. Why they still drink? I don't know what nobody do but me. See how I didn't condemn them for saying what they said, and I'm not going to condemn the family members for doing what they do. I don't know what nobody do. I'm just trying to take care of myself. And that family member will look at me like, okay, all right. And that's gonna either do one out of three things. It's gonna elevate them to talk about something different, or they're gonna stoop to a lower level and think I'm gonna concede into saying something back, or they're gonna leave it alone. And you know what? I appreciate that. We need to bring that back, Willis. We need to bring back shame. We need to bring and not bring back shame to be hurtful or spiteful, but we need to bring back shame for more maturity, for more growth, for more strength. So people ain't got to be so weak. Not shame because like when I was younger, people was ashamed to go to the store with food stamps. I don't mean that shame. I mean the shame like if we have a family member that we know need to be more respectable, need to be more educated, need to be more mindful. We need to call them out like, yo, bro, or yo, sis, yo, you need to be more mindful of that. Like you got kids now. Like be more mindful for yourself when you're dealing with your kids, or be more mindful when you coming outside. Like you just can't be if they drink, you just can't be getting drunk anywhere. If they gamble, yo, you just can't be gambling recklessly like that. If you're gonna discipline your kids, it's a way to do that. It's a place to do that. You can't just do that around anybody no more. That's what I mean by shame. Not aha, not that type of shame. No. So what you saying is 100% on point, bro. Like we need to bring that back. And like I said, for those who may just be ear hustling and not paying attention to what my brother typed in and said about the shame thing again, it's for acknowledgement reasons, not to bash anybody and put them down. Not that, not shame in that regard. No. Like be more respectful of yourself. So if it's a female in your family, don't go outside looking any way. Respect yourself. If it's a dude in your family, don't go outside with your pants sagging all the way off your behind, your drawers showing. Nah, don't do that. That's what I mean by be more accountable when it comes to the shame thing. Yo, man, don't talk to your moms like that. Don't talk to your dad like that. Don't deal with grandma like that. Like when you come in the house from outside, wash your hands before you go in the refrigerator. Like that's what I mean by bring that back. So nobody get those germs and other people don't get sick or whatever. That's all. But not the shame like, yo, I got more than you. I look better than you. I could do more than you. Nah, because that's gonna cause a problem. Because somebody ego and pride gonna get hurt. And I talked about the ego and pride thing. That's why a lot of people going through problems because their ego and pride get hurt. And they like, oh, this person don't know who I am, what I do. Oh, that's supposed to be my uncle. Why you treat me like that? That's supposed to be my mom. How she gonna do me like that? That's supposed to be my pops. How you gonna do me like that? That's supposed to be my wife. She gonna do me like that? That's supposed to be my husband. He gonna so the ego and pride. That's that's mentally, psychologically, and spiritually hurting us. And a lot of people know how to play with that. Like a lot of people that got psychological advantage over others, they play off that because they know they could hurt someone's ego and pride. And they don't care. They just like, I know I can make them get upset based off certain things people say. That's why it's important who you share what with. You know what I'm saying? Like that's very important. Some people don't pay that mind. You could tell your man something, and now y'all going through something. He used that against you. You could tell your woman something. Now y'all going through something. She used it against you. You could tell your brother something. He used that against you. You could tell your sister something, or you could find out something about somebody, and now it's like, okay, you tell them what you know. It's like now they're in a compromised situation or predicament. So it's like, well, I got to be real mindful of who I tell what to. And that's why, or how come, rather, I ask what I ask about family, because you don't draw a line in the sand, your family will get you frustrated. So you got to understand that just because they're family or the relation, don't let that get you caught up and now you lose yourself. Because, like I said, that has happened to me. And I love my family till the cash could drop with the dirt on top. But that had nothing to do with me having to release myself from that. And when I did, I was so thankful. I was so thankful because now when I started to interact with them after I did it, other family members was telling me things about other family members. And I had to think back, well, if I was still around, this would be me, the conversation to be about. And again, it don't make them bad people. It just make me recollect and understand now. I don't want to go through that. But it's supposed to be acceptable because it's family. Like nothing is acceptable when it goes against you. It don't matter who it is. Nothing is acceptable if it's going against me. I mean, that's the difference in who I am and who I'm becoming. Like I said in the past, I would have overlooked it. Like that's still such and such. I don't do that no more. And I became a better person for it, mentally, psychologically, spiritually. So instead of me focus on being nice, I became good and great, because that old said, nice people finish last. So instead of me worrying about being nice, I went from good to great. And I also became wiser than I was yesterday. So me now looking at situations when they arrive, some people will reach out to me and say, yo, I'm going through this with family. How you think I should deal with it? I'd be like, honestly, you just gotta do you. What you mean, do me? You gotta get involved with yourself. You gotta get in tune with yourself. How do I do that? Spend more time with yourself. You gotta do things that make you happy. And if other people feel some type of way, they call you out. That's how you know it's working. Or you just want them to call you out because you just around taking up time, space, and air. Now, I'd rather people call me out because I'm doing what's best for me. I don't want them to be talking crap about me and I'm just taking up time, space, and air because I'm just around. Because it's my aunt crib or my uncle house or my mom's crib or whatever. Like, nah, I'm getting me together. So the times in the past, I just be like, let me go to Uncle so and so crib. We gonna go watch the game. If I decrease from watching sports the way I do, I ain't gotta even worry about going to Uncle so and so house. When they call me, or I see them and say, "You ain't come through watch the game." Nah, I check the highlights. Thanks, Unc. I love you though. All right, no problem. You sure you're all right? What happened? Nah, ain't nothing happened. I just want to check the highlights. You know what I mean? Like, I'm good. But the old me would have been like, nah, you remember last time I came through? I would have gave them a story or I would have gave them what I thought or what I felt. And it's like, I ain't got to worry about that. I don't owe nobody no explanations but myself. And if somebody do something I don't like, I got to blame me before I blame them because I'm putting myself in that predicament. See, I used to believe it's family, so why would they do that? No, I run me. So why am I worrying about if I go around a family member and something ain't right? I can't blame them. That's my bad. That's my fault. That situation not working out. That's why we got two eyes, two ears, one heart, one brain. So you got to really use your brain more than your eyes and your ears and one mouth. So you got to be real strategic about what you say. You got to be very mindful about what you say, and then you got to be very strategic how you're going to think and use your mind. You have to be very strategic with that because you could say something that you might not be able to take back, and you might do something that you can't take back. Like people could show you something just to bait you in. They could show you, nah, you welcome, and then when you take them up on being welcome, you could come through and you could see something like, damn, they invited me through for this. So if your brain like don't even react, just wish them a good night and just keep it moving, keep it pushing. But if you like, yo, y'all invited me over here for this, every time I come through, nah, cousin so and so always do that, uncle so and so always do that. I'm tired of this. Yo, you know what? Y'all just have a good one. God bless y'all. Y'all gotta go. Where you going? Nah, something came up. I got to go. Simple. You ain't got to give them an explanation why you want to keep your mental health intact. Because people try to control you with certain things they say. Oh, that's why family ain't nothing now. You running out. It's like they gonna try to make you feel guilty based around what they want you to do. It's like it's like people plant their insecurities and their fears on other people. So if somebody like, yo, I want to be an artist, I want to paint pictures, people like, man, nobody gonna want to buy your art. See what I'm saying? That's them placing their insecurities and their fears on you. Family do that. So if you like, yo, I'm good, I just want to leave. I ain't mad at nobody. I ain't got no problem. But they'll try to plant their insecurities on you or their guilt on you to make you stay or to make you want to be around family. And family will always be family, but it's still a relationship. And that's why people got so much problems because people in relationships they don't want to be in. It's the same thing with family. You got to build a relationship with your brother, with your sister, with your cousin, with your aunt, with your uncle, with your grandparents, with your mother, with your father. Yeah, your parents got to teach you things till you get a certain age. That's a fact. But now, once you get of age, you, that relationship got to be mutual. Some people, some kids still force their relationship with their mother and their father. Some parents still force relationship with their kids. That end up being a toxic situation. Cause like even though that's my mom's, man, I don't want to be going over there dealing with my mom's. Even though that's my pops, I don't want to be going over there dealing with my pops. Appreciate that, Carla. Thank you. Because again, it's a relationship you got to build. And some people, it's like, man, I've been dealing with this since I was like 15, man. My mom's been doing this, my pop's been doing this, my grandma's, I'm good. I'm like 25 now, man. They still do the same thing right now. We get together, for example, on Thanksgiving, they do the same thing. My uncle and them be getting drunk, arguing over the game. I'm tired of that. I ain't even really want to come through. But my pops been making me come through. My mom's been making me come through. My grandma's be telling me we all need to get together, ain't nothing going on. So even though it's family, it's still a relationship. So even though it is family, it's still a relationship. And how many relationships people really don't want to be in? I can't say, oh, that's still family. It's a relationship. People don't want to be in relationships like that no more. People don't want to be committed no more. People don't want to be loyal no more. And when you force it, it gets worse. Because like I said, they're gonna wait until something happened, then you're gonna find out where they really stand. It's like, well, damn, I went through all this and this is what it is. Wow. Or you find out from another family member something that another family member done told them that you told that family member. And they could just ask you how you doing. You could be like, no, I went to the doctor, man. You know, I've been a little sick or whatever. And they be like, yo, Aunt so and so, Uncle so and so, cousin so, man, they've been sick. And it's like, well, you ain't mad at the family member for telling you, but you're like, how you found that out? I ain't tell you. Well, cousin so and so, or you know how family is. Somebody in the family told somebody and they just said something. And it's like, word. And now you may react to that, and that may cause a problem. Or something could happen with one of your kids, and another family member may feel like you ain't addressed it the way they would have addressed it. It's like they may find out one of you, if you got a daughter, your daughter pregnant. And it's like, oh, I'm saying, if that was my daughter, I would have did this. How you just gonna let her get pregnant by that boy like that? How you letting her out here having unprotected sex? Or how you let your son get arrested? Or how you let your son smoke weed? Or how you let your daughter drink liquor? And you and your kid might have had that conversation already. You probably just didn't say nothing about you or your daughter or your son having that conversation about sex or about drugs or about having a man or having a woman or whatever their situation may be. But they may be like, I'm saying, oh, how you gonna let your daughter do that? How you gonna and you to you might not have no issue with it. Or your husband, he might not have no issue, or your wife might not have no issue with it. Y'all might have sat down as a mother, a father, and that kid and had the conversation. And y'all might have told the kid, don't say nothing to your grandmother, don't say nothing to your uncle, or don't say nothing to family. You good. You know what I mean? Like, but now family find out and now they got an issue with it. So now it becomes a big topic. And now that might be an argument. So if you separate and segregate and do you and get you together mentally, spiritually, and psychologically, you'll be able to see how unstable mentally, spiritually, and psychologically people are, even if it's family. And that's something I had to fall back to find out, to see. I had to see, like, damn, I didn't realize how unstable certain people in my family was. And again, this is not a knock on them. I'm just thankful that I was able to fall back to see. So now I could really evaluate that. And it's like maybe if I would have stood in this situation, I would have even never seen it, let alone in them, but in myself. It's like me smoking. When I used to smoke weed, I didn't realize how embedded I was in the situation until I got out of it. I didn't realize how much money I was putting into it, how much time I was putting into it. But then when I stopped, I'm like, damn, I smoked out of a day. Like, damn, I probably smoked like 5, 6 blunts. That's a lot of weed in one day. Then I'm like, damn, I probably spent 50, $60 in a couple days. I could have did this with that money. And that's not a knock on people who smoke weed. That's just me getting a different perspective, able to analyze it better. But when you embedded in something so much, you don't get an opportunity to stand back and look at it. And some people think because it's family, they can't do that. Oh, it's family. Nah, I can't do that. It's my mom. That was my pops. Like, so why get frustrated when something don't go your way and now you resent your moms or you resent your pops or you resent your daughter or you resent your son or you resent your sister or your brother? Because they'll do something that scar you so deeply. It's like, man, I ain't gonna never forget my sister for that. I ain't gonna never forget my brother for that. I ain't gonna never forget my moms for that. I ain't gonna never. But if you stand back and analyze things, it ain't gotta be like that. Because it ain't just in relationships with a man and a woman or a marriage or an engagement. It ain't just that. But some people think that. And it ain't only with family, it's with jobs, it's with careers, it's with coworkers. A lot of people working at jobs they don't want to be at, but what they thinking about the money, but they're not thinking about the relationships they got to build with. They don't know how their coworkers gonna be. They just like, I got this job, I'm gonna get paid X amount of money, but you still gotta communicate. I ain't gonna say really socialize or fraternize, but you gotta communicate with your coworkers. And now you may get the job like, yo, I don't like none of my coworkers. I don't like my manager. I don't like my boss. And you in a relationship now based off the money that you don't want to be in, and that's in the job. That's why I said just because it's family, it's still a relationship. Just because it's a job, when you interact with your coworkers or your managers or your bosses, that's a relationship. That's why people going back up to their job and doing whatever they're doing at the job with their coworkers and their boss or whatever, because they frustrated. They tired of the interaction. These kids going to school a certain way. They don't want to have relationships with them teachers or their classmates or vice versa. The teacher don't want to have relationships with some of these kids. So that's why the kids go to school like that. Cause it's like, man, I'm tired of my classmates. Like kid could be in math class and be struggling with math, and it's like kids making fun of him or classmates making fun of him or her, or they trying to solve a problem, somebody cutting them off or somebody blurting the answer out. That get frustrating because they don't want to keep that relationship with them classmates though. They like, man, I don't even want to go to the school no more. It's like being with family. Man, I don't even want to be around family no more. Man, I don't even feel like going to work no more because of the relationships. So again, when you build in a relationship, we can't base it off who it is or what we getting out of it. We got to base it off, and we got to look the forecast and say, you know what? I do really want this job. I do want to make this money, but okay, this is the side effects, or this could be the side effects. Everything got side effects, everything. But, or however, for some apparent reason, we like to ignore the side effects. until the side effects come back to hurt or harm us. We know certain foods and certain things we eat and drink got side effects, but we ignore that. So it's the same thing with family because we going off who it is. And I'm not saying who that family is don't mean anything, but it can't mean more than your mental health. It can't mean more than your psychological health, your spiritual health. Can't mean more than that. But some people don't pay that mind. They just ignore it. And again, they let it build up. It's like sweeping it under the rug. You keep sweeping dust under the rug, that dust gonna get back in your lungs and all that. And now it's gonna affect your body. And that could cause a bunch of other things you don't need. So now you swept off, keep sweeping it on the rug, keep sweeping it on the rug. That dust gonna happen from under that rug eventually. You're gonna start coughing, not feeling good, chest gonna be hurting like damn. Why I keep coughing? Why my chest hurt? You swept under that dust under the rug. Then when you gotta get the dust from under the rug, you gotta clean it up. It's gonna frustrate you. Or you just gonna be like, man, I'm gonna put this rug out. That's like with family. You're gonna either get frustrated or you ain't gonna deal with them no more. But again, because of who it is, we ignore it. Because of who it is, it's all good. It's not all good. Like I said, I love my family. Till the cash get dropped with the dirt on top. Nothing's changing that. But I can't lose myself in that process though. But I gotta put me first. I gotta prioritize me. Because when you start to prioritize yourself, you'll see where you really stand in people's lives, family, friend, or foe. That's why I said what I said on the other live about people who get things in life and become successful. They not really worrying about their family like that because they understand the significance. Is like, nah, I'm good. But when you allow yourself to say, no, that's still such and such and such, like, and of course we can't control who our family is, but we can control what we do and we can control how we deal with them. And that should be important, how we deal with them, not how they deal with us. That's another thing I'm learning about life. How I'm going to deal with things and situations and people, and not worry about how they're going to deal with me. And that's how we end up getting caught up. And so that ended up happening because we allow people to deal with us and we don't deal with them. So when you start to see how you're going to deal with people, you'll see how your life will change. And it'll change for the better, not for the worse. When you prioritize you, people quickly going to show you where you really stand. And I love that when I started dealing with me. That changed my whole approach when I started dealing with me and people showed me sincerely where I stood. I was loving that because the deeper I got into doing what I need to do for my mental and psychological and spiritual health, it was priceless. It was priceless. And I wouldn't want to give it up for nothing. Period. For nothing in the world. I wouldn't want to give it up. And I'm glad that I decided to do what I did. It's like, man, you know what? Love everybody, but man, I gotta do what's best for me. And like I said, nowadays, that's why when things go down, what what the courts are saying or the cops are saying or people was using mental health, mental health, mental health. That's the go-to now. People snapped or people flipped out or people lost their mind because of what? Mental health. Like I said, you could lose family, money, cars, jewelry, clothes, all that. You can even lose people. But once you lose your mind, game over. Game over. It's gonna be hard to get that back. It's gonna be hard to get that peace of mind back. And people don't have that peace of mind because they're allowing family and or jobs and or relationships overwhelm them. People be so embedded in what they want, they lose themselves. Now I'm saying I really want this car. It's like, okay, I'm saying you are you weighing the pros and the cons? You get the car, you gotta weigh gas, gotta weigh if you how far you're gonna drive tolls. You gotta get it registered, you gotta get it insured, you gotta get oil, you gotta get tire rotations. Like you just it's work you're gonna have to do. People just think I get the car, I'm gonna just be driving around. Then when they get the car, it's like, damn, I gotta do all this. Anything we into, and people don't want to acknowledge it's a relationship that come with that though. So it's a relationship with people and things. But I'm learning more and more. People don't have a relationship with themselves. They rather have a relationship, if not with family or friends, they rather have a relationship with things, jewelry, cars, clothes, food. What about you? And like I said, I had to learn all this the hard way because we all design differently. Somebody else could be smoking cigarettes for 40 years and never catch lung cancer. Somebody that ain't never smoked could get lung cancer. That's just life. So you got to pay attention to you. You can't go off someone else. You got to go off you. We we put a lot of time, effort, and energy into other things and other people. A wise man once told me that love could hurt me because he's like, yo, you fall in love with your chain, you fall in love with your car, you fall in love with that girl over there, or you fall in love with food, or Like, when you gonna fall in love with yourself? When you gonna appreciate yourself? When you gonna fall in love with yourself? And when you gonna be dedicated to you? So no matter if everybody keep closing doors in your face, everybody keep trying to pull a rug from under your feet, none of that's gonna bother you because you appreciate you. Because no matter what you go through in life, people gonna be uncomfortable with you being you more and more because they're not comfortable with being themselves. That's why so many people like to interact with people because they're not comfortable within themselves. That's why I'm thankful for what I've been through, where I'm going, and where I'm at. And I'm thankful that I've been through it. And if I had to do it again, I would. And I would do it the exact way that I did it. I turned pain into prosperity. I turn prosperity into priorities, meaning I make prospering my priority. I turn love, I turn lust into love. I turn love into loyalty. I turn loyalty into longevity. That's what I'm talking about. So when you focus and you really, really got vision and foresight, you ain't gonna let nothing blind your vision. Nothing. Nothing. Only thing sunlight could do is shed more of a clearer light on what you see and what you say. That's it. And facts gonna always supersede someone else's opinion or perspective on you or your situation. Always. People gonna always have opinions about you. So you know how you see yourself. You know what I mean? So let other people have that perspective. And but I get it. It's family, so it gotta mean something. That's my mom's, that's my pops, that's my brother, that's my sister, that's my aunt, that's my, it gotta mean something. Not necessarily, not necessarily. Like I said, I appreciate my family sincerely and dearly, but I come first. I answer up. It's God, then me, then anything and everybody else. Whoever looks at that as me being selfish or me being wrong or self-centered or whatever, I don't care. I, I I'm not gonna lose sleep behind that. I gotta do what I gotta do. And as long as I keep my mental, psychological, and spiritual health in order and intact, I'm good. I'm keeping a rich mentality. Everything I do ain't based off materialism. It's based off mentality. Mentality is key. Too many people nowadays is struggling mentality wise. Too many people are struggling with mental health because they worried about clothes, sneakers, shoes, the latest things. A lot of people don't go to the doctor and check on their heart, their liver, their lungs, their kidneys. Like all that's relevant. And then when they find out something wrong, they break down mentally because they're so caught up in, okay, well, I got the newest iPhone. I got the newest shoes. I got the newest sneakers. I got the latest jeans, the latest outfits. And okay, that's the outer surface. How's your inner surface? Your mind, your heart, your organs. How that's working for you? That's why a lot of things go on. What they say, the person was suffering from mental health. Person was suffering from mental health. People say they heard the person talking to themselves, or they wasn't on their medication, or whatever it is. And again, people be caught up in what their family think, believe, or say. But a lot of people, families, be turning their back on people that got these mental health issues. But they want the government or these agencies to be helping them. But their family allegedly love them though. But allegedly their family love them though. That's how it works. Allegedly, people family love them, but all this mental health going on. Oh well, we try to get them help, but this place closed, that place closed. Like read books, study on how to help people with mental health. You can't always rely on the government or on doctors. That's your loved one, right? That's your son or your daughter or your niece or your nephew or your grandkid or your grandmother or your grandfather. Study up. It's a lot of things I didn't know. That's why I tell people when they come to my platform, homework and research, study up. If you out with your family and y'all stuck in the woods somewhere, nobody ain't gonna know how to start a fire. Nobody ain't gonna know how to build a tent, a cot, nothing. You just stuck. Nobody ain't gonna know how to hunt, do nothing. We, hey, we just stuck out here. We can't do nothing. You ain't got no cell phone service. Everybody's cell phone dead. The battery died. So now what you gonna do? You just stuck? My mind think like that. Like you gotta open up your mind and be like, you know what? Yeah, I gotta develop some real sort of survival skills. And for a lot of people that quote unquote look like me and come from the certain communities, we think about survival skills is just about staying alive from people in the hood. No, I'm talking about survival skills. If you stuck in the wilderness, what you gonna do? Like, what's gonna happen if you really gotta go out there and hunt? Like if the government, everything gets shut down based around these tariffs that's going on. It's like now every man and woman, we allowing y'all to go 10 and 5 for your family. So if you the man of your family, you got to go out there and go hunt deers and chickens and all that for your family to eat. What you gonna do? Like what's now what's really good? What people gonna do? You got to really go out there and hunt and bring it back now. No robbing and stealing. No, you got to go hunt. They're gonna put you out there in the wilderness. You got to go out there and go hunt some deers and go find the chickens and all that. You got to go find the pigs. You got to do it yourself. Like what people really gonna do? Because we always saying how the government is corrupt, how you can't trust politicians, how you can't. Okay, so now you gotta go do it yourself. What you gonna do? You gotta go. You gotta go make the necessary weapons to go hunt. Can't use guns. You gotta make you a spear. You gotta make you some bow and arrows or whatever. How you gonna survive? A lot of people not gonna make it. And again, it's not about age. This is about mentality. It's about being mentally prepared to go out there and do what you got to do. God gonna make it happen. God gonna make it happen. What you gotta do? You gotta go make it happen. You can't just keep sitting back and wait for the powers to be to put it in place. You gotta go make it happen. Because you could be with your family. Now you're telling me nobody know how to hunt? Nobody know how to build a tent? Nobody know how to survive in the wilderness? I mean, let's just say they say you gotta do it for for 5 days. Like yo, whoever could survive this gauntlet for 5 days, we got you. You survive this gauntlet for 5 days, we gonna grant you another 10 days of this. So once a month, you at least got to survive in the wilderness on your own with your family for 5 days. You gotta go out there and catch it yourself, slaughter it yourself, and do what you gotta do with the whatever you grab and get. Whatever you slaughter, you gotta know how to cook it yourself and break it down and all that yourself. And you may be like, all right, I'm gonna rely on Uncle so and so. I'm gonna rely on my grandfather. And they may be like, I don't know how to do that. But they may be like, I gotta do this for me and the family members that I got over here. I wasn't anticipating you coming through. Come on, like you gotta learn. So now it's like, oh, Uncle so and so don't want to help me, Grandpa don't want to help me, or cousin so. You gotta learn. You gotta learn. Can't rely on them. You gotta learn how to do it. It ain't simple. It ain't easy, but it's possible. Gotta make it happen. Go out there and hunt. Make it happen. So that's why certain things is important. Being a Girl Scout, being a Boy Scout, that's important. Know know how to know how to conduct yourself in the wilderness. But some people laugh at that. Oh, Girl Scout ain't doing that. Boy Scout, that's doing a lot. Because now the things that you know, you could apply those skills when you're in the wilderness. you can actually apply them skills. Knowing how to fish. So if you don't know how to hunt, at least you know how to fish. You got something. You can't be the I don't know how to hunt or I don't know how to fish. It's like you can't do either one. And if you don't know how to hunt, if you don't know how to fish, be prepared to learn or put yourself in the position to be learning. Put yourself in a position to know or to learn. Don't limit yourself. Be prepared to learn how to do that. Because it's strategic. With all this stuff going on, who knows if that's how we might have to be living another year or two from now, another 5 years from now, or whatever time left. We might have to learn how to do that. So now, if people get fed up with these tariffs and the government gets shut down, they're like, yo, but I don't care. You can eat, but you just got to go hunt or you got to learn how to fish. So now how people going to eat? Can't live off snacks. You can't do that. Sound good, but you can't. Can't live off that. Can't can't live off snacks. You can't do that. So now you gotta learn how to hunt, how to fish. And if you have any family members that know how to do that, gotta get around them. Start picking their brain. Uncle so and so, grandpa, or your pops, whoever, they know how to do that. Get with them and take a day out of a month or out of a week and say, you know what, man, I'm gonna start going to the woods. It's not only learn how to hunt or learn how to fish. You can learn how to defend yourself if you have to when it comes to these animals or wildlife, so to speak. But some people ignore that. They just think the world gonna be how it is. I ain't gonna need this. I ain't gonna need to learn how to hunt. I ain't gonna need to learn how to fish. I'm good. I'm gonna be all right. You don't know that. Okay, fine. You don't need to know how to hunt or fish. Okay, learn how to drive a boat. Learn how to build. Learn how to make a raft. Something that's relevant. It's important. It's needed. But again, I mean, who's really on a real large scale? Not, I ain't gonna say nobody at all, but on a large scale, people ain't thinking like that. People ain't thinking about that because the world, meaning America, gonna always be how it is. We ain't gonna have to do that. I would never speculate and assume that. How things are going, that's next. That's coming. That's coming. That's on the rise. Be- because due to the facts now, things don't get right amongst people with their relationships, with their jobs, with their coworkers, with their bosses or management, and or with family, okay, the world might not shut down due to disease this time. It may shut down due to finances. What are people going to do when they like, yo, we can't get people to import goods no more? You could go out there and hunt though. We giving people the right to go do that. But you can't use guns. You got to use, well, you can't use firearms. You got to make a spear, or you got to have a bow and arrow, or something like that, a crossbow, something like that. Spear, a crossbow, bow and arrow, something. But If you don't know how to use that, what you gonna do? And what you gonna do? You don't know how to you don't know how to trap no animals, nothing like that. You don't know how to set up no fish nets, nothing like that. So how you and your family supposed to eat? Oh, you gotta rely on the government that we saying that don't love people anyway, that's crooked anyway? You gonna rely on your family? They may not even know how to do that. That's why it's important to start doing things by yourself. So if this situation occur or something like this happen, whoever that's dependent or relying on you, your kids, your wife, your family, your immediate family. So if it's you and your kids, and you ain't even gotta have a man or woman involved. If you the woman, what you gonna do? You ain't got no man. You don't know how to do nothing? Okay, fine. You can't hunt, you can't fish, you can't go hunt for no animals. I'm saying you gotta have some sort of recovery skills. You gotta know how to be a nurse. You gotta know how to draw blood. You gotta know how to take blood pressure. Something, because something happened, at least like, all right, my mom's or my aunt, she could do this. She got some nursing skills. And you could be a lawyer, but you got nursing skills. You ain't gotta be no certified nurse, but you know what you're doing. Come on, man. Like this is severely real right here. But again, I'm just talking. I don't know what I'm talking about. People don't be paying attention. Got to start paying attention. That's why I be opening my videos with listen up. Learn to listen or listen to learn. Because when you force to listen, it's gonna be frustrated. You ain't gonna want to listen because somebody forcing you to listen. But we quick to criticize the government this, the CIA this, that. What happens when you think you need to rely on your family? You can't do that for basic things, and everything gets shut down. Nobody in your family know how to hunt. What you gonna do? Just gonna be stuck? Just gonna get frustrated because nobody know how to do nothing? That's what's gonna happen? Just gonna give up because ain't nothing going on now? Everything gonna be shut down, probably, or more than likely, because people don't like paying attention. They're gonna find something to complain about though. Hmm. Should be real simple to do that. So if you're not willing to learn or get with the program, ain't nothing gonna happen. Gotta learn and be willing to get with the program. Can't keep sitting back anticipating or thinking the government gonna be around. Nah, and family ain't family no more. You may get along with them, but they may not get along with you. And you may not get along with them, and they may get along with you. So it ain't like that. So it's not the way it used to be. Like family, nah. Can't be screaming that no more. Used to could scream that. Not no more. It was a point like, all right, A lot of people used to rely on their family. Can't do that no more. You can rely on family. They got you. Not no more. Not no more. It's a cold world. Who you gonna trust? Shout out to Carla. Shout out to Rillis and everybody else who tapped in. East Dad. I want to thank everybody for stopping by, for tapping in. I appreciate it. Again, it's not about how many people's here. It's about how they correspond. So I'm thankful for them for answering some of the questions I put out there or just responding back. I appreciate them tapping in, spending time with me, taking time out their life and out their day. So God bless everybody for checking in and for tapping in. And again, appreciate everybody for helping me get to the 1K subs. So if you see this on the playback, I appreciate it. If you made it to this point, if you watch this on the playback, and I'm just working on getting my watch hours up as well. So again, thank everybody for tapping in. Carla, East Dad, Realist, and everybody else who have tapped in. All right. So salute to everybody. Peace, world.